What's going on, guys? This is Kaishiro, welcome back. So we are back with another video. On this video, we are going to cover Uncrowned Kings, local metagame report that will cover tournament results and decklist reviews for the past 2 weeks. We have February 12 to February 28. So a 2-week span of tournament results and decklist reviews. So we're going to see which decks have performed well on the previous weeks of February, and I think this will be a very interesting video because this is also post Lede, and we are going to see the impact of Lede on our format right now. So without further ado, let's start. Coming at first on our first tournament here, we have Order of the Duelist in Albay Battle Fiesta event. We have Tenpai as the champion of that tournament. So Tenpai have been doing really well on the previous weeks and as well as post Lede because this deck is very unique, no? Most people have been playing the game as a turn 1 player, and I think Tenpai really adds dimension and variety on the meta because it is a go second OTK deck, and most people have loved that, including me. I think this is a very unique way to play the game, and looking on our list here from Angelo James, this is a very balanced Tenpai list. He opted to play hand traps on the deck like Nibiru, Shifter, Droll, and also played copies of board breakers on the main deck like Super Poly, Change of Heart, and Droplets. So this will be a very interesting ratio on Tenpai, and most people have been really skeptical on playing hand traps and board breakers on the main deck. Most people are playing with raw board breakers on the main deck, and some people as well play more hand traps like 22, 24 amount of hand trap on the main deck, and it's really divided, and it's up to them whether what path they will take on playing Tenpai. But yeah, this is a very well balanced list from Angelo James. Next we have another Centurion. So Centurion has been also decent on our OCG metagame in the Philippines, and mainly to the fact that Centurion is a very okay deck when considering the fact that you can set up negations on that opening, and you can also play floodgates on this deck like Dimension Fissure, which can stun the graveyard. Of course, this is a very pivotal card on the format to stop the Snake Eyes and Fire King decks. And also, of course, Kaiser Colosseum, goodness gracious. I don't even know why Kaiser Colosseum is legal in the OCG. It's very toxic, to be honest. And I think Kaiser Colosseum should go to 1 on the upcoming ban list this April. So let's see whether Kaiser Colosseum will go into 1 as I have predicted. But yeah, it's very stunning and also cancerous to deal against. And it's a major contributor towards the success of Centurion nowadays. And next we have Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk from Mark Stephen, our friend from Kaiduwilis. So Tri-Brigade has been really doing subpar on the previous weeks, especially post-Lede, because other decks are just so much better. But I think Lyrilusk can definitely set up a very formidable board when going first, and also the recursion and recovery and follow-ups of Tri-Brigade can definitely complement the deck. So yeah, I think this is a pretty nice list from Mark Stephen. Next we have Adamancipator. So the standard Adamancipator, no, with Prank Kids and other Earth Good stuff cards on the main deck. I think Adamancipator can also bring out a very powerful board when going first, and I think this can be a very good rogue deck at this point, no. Most people are prepared against the best decks out there like Fire King, Snake Eyes, Voiceless Voice, so they can pretty much caught off guard using Adamancipator. Next we have moving on, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Dumaguete weekly tournament results. So on first place we have our friend as well from Kaiduwilis community. We have Alexis Precioso with his Fire King, Snake Eyes, Sinful. So that intriguing part on this list is he plays double Fire Island on the main deck. Before it used to be like this, but recently most Fire King players are trimming the copies of Fire Island into 1 to have more rooms for hand trap on the main deck, of course, and to avoid breaking as well sometimes. So yeah, I think Fire Island into 2 can be decent because you have extra copy, of course, you have better grind game, and also when you face Runic, if they banish your Fire Island, the only one copy, it will be very traumatizing and very bad for you. But having two copies of Island can be very positive on the grind game. And also on the side deck, he prioritized a lot of going first cards like Solemn Strike and Anti-Spell Fragrance, which can boost his going first capability. And also played double Little Knight and double Promethean. Double Promethean is standard, but double Little Knight is not that really prevalent nowadays. But I think having the second copy of Little Knight over Underworld Goddess or Hit Soul, no, he doesn't play Hit Soul, so it can definitely give him edge on the mid game, especially if he finds himself looking for the second copy of Little Knight. Next, we have Invoke Dogmatica from Jason. So the standard Invoke Dogmatica without Sinful Engine, and I think it's really decent, no? You set up Mechaba and paired with Winda, you can definitely win the game because Winda is a Floodgate monster, boss monster, and also Mechaba adds Omni-Negate paired with your Fleur-de-Lis on your hand, and something like Dogmatica Punishment to protect your board and presence. And I think this is a very nice list moving forward because you do have a lot of non-engine cards on the deck, like Solemn Judgment on his list. He can boost his going first and also play more hand traps like Droll and Lockbird on the main deck. So yeah, this is a very well balanced list from Jason. Next we have Lincoln Cardines with Centurion Horus. So another Centurion, no? There's been a plethora of Centurion topping on our Philippines. We have Kenneth Mercader winning the Rookie Cup 2024 on our Kaido Willis tabletop community using Centurion as well. So I think Centurion has a bright spot on our meta right now. And he only played 8-sided cards, no? I think he made a decklist error, but yeah, he still topped on that tournament. Next, moving on, we have Central Borneo de Willis weekly tournament. On first, we have Pendulum Magician. So pretty standard. You couldn't say anything extraordinary on the list. Just the standard usual ratio of Pen Magi. And also Dragon Shrine is very insane on this deck. Once you resolve Dragon Shrine or Foolish Burial, is pretty much unstoppable, to be honest. And there's not many decks that can break your board on your setup. So yeah, this is a very powerful combo deck. Next we have Purely. So Purely have been shellacking on the previous weeks. And generally on the January format, Purely have been going down the drain. They are not that much represented. I think Purely players are tired of playing the deck because there's a lot of interactions and gas of many decks out there that can break the board of Purely. Because before, Nor is very formidable, but now sometimes Nor is not that enough to control the game. And yeah, I think overall Purely is still a very decent mid-range deck. You do have a lot of rooms for hand trap and can also be decent when going second with your Delicious Memory and Pretty Memory. You can definitely go second out there, and also the Zeus board wipe. So yeah. Next we have Salamangreat. So Salamangreat with Splash Mage and Access Code Talker Entrance Code on the extra deck. That's really unusual. Most Salamangreat players are now playing double copies of Promethean and triple Raging Phoenix. So this is a fresh take on Salamangreat. And also, I really like the fact that he played Forbidden Droplet on the side deck. Most Salamangreat players doesn't really play Droplet, but it can definitely give you advantages when you can discard your cards and gain graveyard effects. And on top of that, you negate the opponent's monster, and your opponent doesn't really respond to the Droplet moreover. So yeah, I think this is a really nice side deck option for Salamangreat. And yeah, triple Cosmic Cyclone, which can be very strong against the Fire King and Runic and other back row decks on the format. He only played 2 Kaiser Colosseum because you may draw 2 copies of Kaiser if you played 3. So I think it's just a right amount of Kaiser on the main deck. Next we have Voiceless Voice. So yeah, standard list of Voiceless Voice. The only unusual here is he played double sa Oravis and 1 Pendulum Grab. Most players are playing 1 sa Oravis with 1 Pendulum Grab only, but he played 2 sa Oravis on his list. And yeah, he doesn't really play Prosperity, no? Maybe he wants to plus more cards from Extravagance, and he's afraid of Droll and Lockbird. But on the side deck, I really commend playing Sanctum and Sight on the side deck, and I think that's the correct way, no? And most decks can play around Dimensional Barrier like Fire King and Snake Eyes because they opt to Link Summon, of course, so they are not really affected by the likes of Dimensional Barrier. So yeah, Sanctum is a very bright alternative for that card, and also played Anti-Spell Fragrance, of course, to prevent your board from getting annihilated by board breakers. So yeah, this is a really nice list from Oshando. So moving on, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Davao Mindanao Gaming Ranking Tournament. On first place, we have Jobel Vios with Fire King. So standard, I think the only unusual thing here is he played only 2 Bonfire, and I don't know if it's budget issues or he just doesn't want to play the third copy of Bonfire. But yeah, I think I really like the fact that he played Droll and Nibiru on the main deck over something like Veiler, because on general consensus of the meta, it's more impactful to resolve Droll and Nibiru just to stop the opponent's deck from snowballing out of control, and I think it's a nice interaction from his deck. And yeah, the side deck is pretty much linear. He played Lancea, even though I don't think that Lancea is that impactful on the meta right now. I think Lancea can be niche on matchups like Wanderies and Ritual Beast. So yeah, I think it's really uncoveted right now to play Lancea. Next, we have another Voiceless Voice from RV Odoya. So he played Summon Limit on the side deck. Aside from the Sanctum, Summon Limit can be a wise choice on side deck because you stop your opponent from playing the game, and sometimes, just sometimes, your Guardian and your Authority or Radiance on your field can really lack, especially if your opponent has too much gas on his hand, and I think Summon Limit can definitely ease out that problem on this Voiceless Voice. And he only played 2 pre-prep. I often see that ratio on Japanese decklist of Voiceless Voice, but I do prefer playing 3 because it's +2, and I think it can really bait out hand traps like Bell, Ash, so this can be very pivotal on the consistency of the Voiceless Voice. And moving on, we have Duelist Diwata Ranking Tournament. On first place, we have Vanquish Hole with Snake Eyes. Wow, very spicy from Alex. I think this is really astonishing, and I don't know how the deck works, to be honest. Maybe you choose one engine to resolve when going first, whether you play the Vanquish Holes or the Snake Eyes. And I think it's really interesting, no? Because you do have a lot of starters on the deck. You do have the Stake Your Soul and Raizen, and you have Bonfire, Snake Eyes, Ash, and yeah, a lot of things to start his plays. So I think the Snake Eyes elevated the ceiling of his deck and added dimension to play through boards on his deck. And yeah, I think it can really overshadow the Vanquish Hole strategy, because if you're going to select play to do or resolve on your turn, I would rather play the Snake Eyes line of play over the Vanquish Hole one. But yeah, Vanquish Hole can definitely complement his going second as well and bar breaking capability. Next, we have Fire King. So yeah, standard list of Fire King. Play circle of Fire Kings on the main deck. That's the only unusual part. And yeah, like I have said earlier, most Fire King players are playing one island nowadays. So he also adapted that ratio on his island. Next, we have Labyrinth with third place Labyrinth from Sebastian. So triple transaction rollback on the main deck. That's been a debate for most Japanese Labyrinth players right now. Most people have been playing rollback at 2, sometimes 1, and even the world champion of 2019, Kukui Kosaka, doesn't even play rollback on his Labyrinth deck. And I wonder why, because rollback is very impressive on the Labyrinth on my own perspective. But yeah, it can definitely break sometimes, and also he played Mistaken Arrest on the main deck. I think it can be a good alternative to draw cards, I think, yeah. And yeah, most Labyrinth players only sides this card on their side deck. Next, we have Memento with Horus Engine. So, Memento have been tricky on the previous weeks before they are have a status of Tier D or Tier 3 or Tier 4, even Tier 4 meta deck post Lede, but they have been underperforming recently, and I don't really know what to do on making a tier list for Memento. I don't really rate the deck that much, and I'm losing faith on the deck already because they have been inconsistent on the previous weeks, and I don't really know if they can continue to combat the meta decks out here. And yeah, I think it will be very interesting to see the trajectory of Memento moving forward. Next, we have Request Toys and Hobby Shop ranking tournament. On champion decklist here, we have Voiceless Voice, another Voiceless Voice. So he played the new ritual from Lede, and most people doesn't really play this card because it's kinda bad when you draw this card, and also can be bricky on certain occasions, and you don't really benefit that much on playing this card, but it can be an extra body. And yeah, I think you also draw cards from this card, and it can boost the consistency just a little bit, but I don't really see the point of playing this card on the main deck on my own perspective as a Voiceless Voice player myself. And on the side deck, he played Skullmeister. Can be decent against Fire King and Voiceless Voice mirror match, and he doesn't really play that much hand drops on the main deck. He played 3 talents on the main deck, so he wants to answer hand drops rather than play hand drops. Next, we have another Voiceless Voice player, and he played triple summon limit on the main deck, and I used to do that as well. I played summon limit on the main deck, and I haven't played Ash Blossom as well on my previous list of Voiceless Voice. And summon limit is insane. Once you draw this summon limit and you go first and set up Skull Guardian and something like Authority or Radiance paired with one hand trap and summon limit, it's game over, to be honest, and most decks cannot really play around summon limit on this deck. And yeah, on the side deck, he only has 14 cards. But interesting, he played Dark Ruler No More over Droplet, and I think he doesn't really want to lose hand size from Droplet. That's why he opted to play Dark Ruler. Next, we have Enrico Madolche. Madolche. So, it's been a while since I have seen Madolche on the metagame, and he's not playing Maxi, Very bold from Enrico. He doesn't really play Maxi, if I'm seeing things correctly. So he played Talents and Dark Ruler No More on the main deck to have Remedy when losing the die roll and going second. And I'm not really too sure on his decision to take out Maxi, but I think it worked for him because he got top 4 on their locals. And yeah, we have Yubel on another top 4 list. So Yubel has been quite a cornerstone of tier 3 or D tier on the meta right now, because Yubel can really perform, especially if your locals doesn't know how to stop you. It's very hard to defeat Yubel. On my own experience, I find hard to defeat Yubel, and they have been really sturdy on their defense. They can definitely defend their board, and it's really hard to out their monsters. And I think they also have access to Super Poly, which can be very terrifying when going second. So Yubel can be a very decent deck on the meta right now. So moving on, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Davao, Mindanao Gaming, another tournament from them. We have Snake Eyes, Sinful from Josel, De La Torre. So pretty standard, I don't really see. Oh, so he played the Jet Synchron. I forgot the name, but yeah, the Synchron card. So he wants to play Borreload Savage on the extra deck, and it can give him a really good protection for his board. And also played Gandora on the side deck. Wow, very spicy. I don't know how Gandora works on this list, to be honest, and I have no idea why he opted to play this card. But yeah, what are your thoughts, guys? I think Gandora can be very spicy here. And yeah, moving forward, we have Cyber Dragon from Jake Perez. So it's a newbie tournament, so it's really nice to have communities and organizers that plays a tournament for our newbies and young bloods in the OCG. Especially Yu-Gi-Oh have been really bad on catering newbies and returning players, so it's really nice to see a fresh start for our young players. And just Cyber Dragon, decent OTK deck. Couldn't say that much. I think he really surprised people with his going second capability on Cyber Dragon. Next we have Sky Striker. So yeah, standard list of Sky Striker. He didn't play the new supports from the extra deck. So that's the standard Sky Striker with 3 Kagari, 3 Shizuku, with double Zik and 1 Azalea. He didn't even play Camellia. And next we have Dragon Maid. Wow. So I think Dragon Maid have been really disastrous, to say the least, on the OCG format this January. And I haven't seen Dragon Maid tops, to be honest. And this is just Arrow Dragon Maid. He didn't play extra, instead he played upstart. So he wants to preserve his extra deck on this list. And yeah, Super Poly, of course, can be really good on Dragon Maid main deck. Next we have Order of the Duelist and Albay, local ranking. On first, we have another Tenpai. So he's the same player, I think, with Tenpai Ryu from Angelo James. So it's the same list as earlier, I think. Next we have another Tenpai. So I think Tenpai is showing consistency on the format right now, especially in our country, in the Philippines. And I think it's mainly to the fact that Tenpai is very accessible to us and the deck is pretty much cheap, no? You don't really have expensive cards on the deck. The only expensive one is the Trident Dragon, which can be very expensive right now on our local price. But if you can pre-order the copy of that card, you can be budgeted on that card as well, because it's much more cheaper overseas than our local pricing of that card. Next we have Snake Eyes in full. So standard, I think he played 1-for-1 on the main deck to boost the consistency of the deck, and I really like the fact that he played Change of Heart. It's been a revelation on the side deck of many Japanese people, and Change of Heart can be really good on mirror matches and also breaking the boards of the opponent. So yeah, I think Change of Heart does have a room on the meta right now on his side deck. Next we have Jake Joey, Adamancipator. So another Adamancipator, I think it's the same list as earlier. So he played Judgment to protect his board, and also played Kaijus, no? Kaiju have been very what do you call this? Very tentative on the format, whether you play this card or not. I think it's up to the preference of the player, but I would rather not play Kaiju. I would play Kurikara instead. So moving on, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Davao Mindanao Gaming. So we have Fluandris here. So standard list of Fluandris. I think it is just a standard version of Fluandris from Vince Dagala. The only unusual part is he played Dark Ruler No More on the main deck over Ash Blossom and Imperms. Next we have Spiral Horus from Adrian. So this is also a very roguish deck on the Japanese metagame, and I think that he adapted this Alice as well and played Royal Decree on the side deck. So he doesn't really want to face trap decks, because I assume Spiral have a poor match up around control decks, and yeah, I think Royal Decree is an answer to that. And yeah, next we have Azrak Guild. So this is a huge tournament with 70 players, 70 plus players. So yeah, moving on, we have Ivanhoe Evangelista Infernoble Knight as the champion of that huge tournament. So this is a very explosive combo deck. Sets up a billion of negates when going first. Barone, Apollousa, Little Knight, and all of those Infernoble crazy negations and interruptions. So yeah, this is really well played from him. Next we have our friend Arens Carlo Ponko with Chimera. So another staple deck on our Philippines metagame, and Chimera have been doing really well since their support from Lede, which boosted the Illusionist archetype in general. Next we have Snake Eyes from Ren's Gizagan. So he played Change of Heart as well on the side deck and played Pankrataps. Can be very strong when facing floodgates like anti-spell and summon limit. I think I really like the fact that he played Pankrataps to answer the floodgates, and main deck evenly matched, no? Very unusual and interesting. I think he wants to break boards using this list, and I think he have urgency to play evenly because the metagame in the Philippines is very diverse. So evenly match can be a great card to answer the variety of decks. Next we have Tenpai Artifact from Charles, and this is a very spicy list from him. Played Blaster and Magnumut on the main deck, paired with the Sanctum and Sight with Lancea on the main deck, which can be very strong, especially if his opponent knows that he plays Tenpai. That opponent would rather go him first or play him first turn, and I think the Sanctum can definitely solve the issues if you draw this card and set up something like Seals, so you can guarantee to OTK the opponent the following turn because you skip the turn of your opponent using the Sanctum and Sight. Next we have Alfred Zamora, Scarecrow Horus. So very interesting list here from Alfred, and he's been playing Scarecrow for a handful of time already, and he definitely knows his craft on this deck. Look at this is very unconventional, and you don't really see this list on Japanese Twitter and Facebook tournament mainstream reports. So I think he really knows his craft on this list. Next we have Voiceless Voice from John Russell C. Played Shifter, no, on the side deck. Very interesting to say the least. And I would rather not see Shifter resolving, but yeah, if he does have the hands to play around Shifter, it's pretty much game over for the most decks out there when he can draw Shifter and set up something like Skull Guardian and Authority. Next we have Purely from Van Joseph Lipana. So standard version of Purely. I wouldn't say something else on this list, just the standard version of Purely. Next we have Fighting Snake Eyes from Walter, and this also a standard list of Viking, no? He only played he played 2 island, no? So that's very intriguing to say the least. And also on the side deck he played Dagda and Sight. So he played Dagda on the extra and Sight on the side deck, so he does have an option to pop the Sight. So yeah, very wise from Walter. Next we have Joshua Coriano, Vanquish Soul. So standard list of Vanquish Soul as well, nothing too extravagant. Played Lancea, mainly to the fact that Fluandris is very usual on our metagame, so he wants to beat Fluandris. Next we have Mark Jericho, Naturia Horus. Very insane when you can set up Natura Beast and paired with something like Photon Lord and Dingirisu. So this can be very wise on his part because you can protect your board from getting destroyed because you have Photon Lord, and Natura Beast can do his thing and just negate every spell on the game. Next we have Branded from Moises with Small Dogmatica Engine on the main deck. Plays the Gimmick Puppet Lock to stun the opponent, and also there can be only one on the side deck. Very spicy from Moises. Next we have Jurel, another Branded, no? So Branded has been showing signs of revitalization on our meta, and I think Branded have been overlooked by many people because there are better decks than Branded, but I do think that Branded does have a solid chance to play around the best decks, and Fighting Snake Eyes can definitely lose to Branded, especially if Branded does have the gas to break their boards. And yeah, we have Chimera, another Chimera on the top 16 from McHaley. So played the Bar Statue of Dark on the main deck, can definitely stun people, and also played the Fright 4 package to boost the consistency of the deck, just to have avenues so that he can play the fusion play when going first. Next we have Fluandris from Aldwin. So the extra deck is very random. You don't really use the extra deck on this list, and yeah, I think it speaks volume on how budget you can play the Fluandris is. Whether you play a bunch of random cards on the extra deck, you can still definitely top due to how good the deck is right now. Next we have Parking Snake Eyes from Alex. So standard as well, played double talents on the side deck, can definitely answer hand traps, and yeah, played only one island and 2 Nibiru on the main deck to answer combo decks in general. And yeah, we have another Snake Eyes, Sinful, and yeah, played triple Bonfire and also plays the Synchron package with Psychic and Punisher, no? Very interesting, he didn't play Savage, but instead he played the Punisher on the extra deck and plays a bunch of Kaijus on the side deck. Maybe he wants to just take out the boss monster of his opponent. So yeah, moving on. We have Yu-Gi-Oh! Yuto in Indonesia. Weekly tournament report. We have Runic Horus Naturia. So I think this is like a TCG-esque build from Ayen. And you don't really see this build in OCG that much. And you don't have Maxi. It's only on the side deck on his list. And plays Ash, Phantasmi, Nibiru, Ghost Bell, and Evenly. So his side deck is streamlined to go second. And maybe he sides out the other cards on the deck of Centurion and Horus when losing the die roll, or rather going second on his build. Next we have Fitra, another branded. So another branded, standard version of branded. He doesn't play Dogmatica cards like Moises. So he played Gimmick Puppet, Gimmick Luck as well on the deck. Oh, I think he doesn't really play that. So yeah, he doesn't play Gimmick Puppet Luck. So yeah, double Mercurier on the main deck. And yeah, I think this is very unusual from Fitra. And on the side deck plays Branded, Regain, and Beast. Very unconventional. Next we have Alwi, Labyrinth. So plays the Labyrinth setup on the main deck now. It's been a controversy for Labyrinth players whether they play this card or not. But I can definitely see the setup on the side deck. And next we have Scareclaw Kashtira. So another Scareclaw, no? So Scareclaw have been quite decent. And I think it will definitely go that way because you have a solid going first. And paired with Kashtira, you have set up to Arise Heart. And Arise Heart is very immense on the format. Once you set up Arise Heart, you instantly win against Fire King and Snake Eyes. And yeah. Moving forward, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Dumaguete. Monthly ranking tournament. First place, Rescue Ace. So Rescue Ace is not that really prevalent nowadays. But it can still top, no? You can definitely see some tops of Rescue Ace from here and then. Next, we have Voiceless Voice. Standard list of Voiceless from Harold. And place the odd ritual on the side deck. I don't even know the name of that card. But yeah, he played the Raijin and the Relinquish Anima Fusion on the extra deck. Very interesting, he played the Instant Fusion on this list. Next we have another Naturia and Traptrix Naturia. So yeah, a very controlling deck on this list. And yeah, I think he played really a bunch of variety in the side deck. He does have Torrential, he does have Skill Drain, and also sides the copies of Veiler. And yeah, this is very interesting from Jill. And moving on, we have Iloilo, Lede Major Tournament. We have Voiceless Voice Dogmatica with Bestials on the main deck. Very interesting. So he doesn't play Branded Fusion, no? Instead, he only plays the Nadir, which can give him a +1. But he doesn't play Garura. Very interesting. Maybe he just dumps the Ferrijit just to mulligan one. And yeah, I think it's really bad if you don't play Garura. But I understand Garura is very expensive on the OCG now. So I can definitely see the logic of playing Ferrijit over Garura. Next we have Branded Chimera from Earl. And yeah, Gaseous deck can definitely break boards due to how many your options have on your deck when losing the die roll. You do have a lot of plays using the Illusionist and Chimera and Branded as well. So this is really a deck that has high ceiling. And next we have Melodious Supreme King. So this is also a popular deck in Japan right now. Abuses the hell out of Ostinato and Dragon Shrine. And you can have easy access to the Beyond the Pendulum and Exceed the Pendulum on this list, and yeah, it boosts the ceiling of the Melodious. Next we have Pendulum Magician, top 4. So place the Spellcaster of Village on the main deck. Can definitely stun most of the decks on the format right now. And only place 2 Dragon Shrine. Maybe he doesn't want to draw 2 copies of Dragon Shrine. And also played Ghost Ogre on the side deck. Finally, I have seen people playing Ghost Ogre. And Ghost Ogre is very strong against Tenpai. Can be decent around Fire King. And can be decent as well around Voiceless Voice. So this is a very powerful card on the side deck right now. And wow, we have top 8 Blue Eyes with Bestials. So wow. I am lost for words on this list from Anthony. And I didn't really anticipate Blue Eyes topping in 2024. And yeah, I don't really see how this deck top, but he eventually topped on this tournament. And it's major props to him for piloting Blue Eyes on this level of tournament. And yeah, I'm really impressed. And imagine playing 3 copies of Blue Eyes Vanilla on the main deck. I couldn't even fathom that logic. But yeah, he definitely top. Maybe he wants to cater his Bestials to his Blue Eyes to give more resiliency towards the deck. And he can definitely combo off using the Blue Eyes cards and the additional Garnets on the deck to set up something like this Pater Barone and the Crimson Dragon, no? So yeah, very interesting. And next we have Voiceless Voice, top 8. So yeah, standard version. I don't know the name of the fusion card on the side deck. I think Starving Venom, no? I'm not really too sure. But yeah, place the Summon Limit as well. Very strong card when going first. And also played 1 Sauravis and 1 Pendulum Grab. That's the usual build of Voiceless Voice on the Ritual ratio. Next we have Fire King Snake Eyes from Spencer. And yeah, standard as well. Very similar to the list of Joshua Coriano. And very inclusive here that he played Dingirisu on the extra deck, which can be very strong when going second. And yeah, I think it's very unusual to see Dingirisu over something like Heat Soul on the extra deck. And also played Skill Drain, a very tremendous card if you can set up big bodies on the field with Skill Drain. Next we have Rika Sanavalon with Raika. Wow. So we are now seeing the innovation of Raika. And Raika definitely boosts the power of Rika. And I think it really complements because those are plants. And yeah, I think it's very interesting to see this list. And I'm also excited to see how the Raika will evolve, especially if they got support on the following sets. And yeah, moving on, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Davao in the No Gaming. We have, wow, this is the spiciest one out there. We have Kurt Elo with Fire King Sinful Tenpai. So this is very innovative from him, and Tenpai can definitely be an intriguing engine on the Fire King. Whether you resolve your Fire Kings or not, I think Tenpai can definitely give you some huge power on going second. You can definitely OTK better using this deck, and it's an alternative to the Snake Eyes package. Especially, you don't even need to run Bonfire anymore when you cater Tenpai on your list. And yeah, Dark Hole on the side deck, very interesting. Maybe he wants to pop his own cards using this Dark Hole. And yeah, it's an alternative to Raigeki. And next we have Voiceless Voice, standard Voiceless Voice from Pizarro. And yeah, plays Trust and Soul Release on the side deck, which can be very phenomenal against Fire King. Next we have Duelist Devata, ranking tournament. So first we have Sebastian. So I think this is the same person as earlier, and he sided the Mistaken Arrest now instead of playing it on the main deck. Instead, he played more hand traps on the main deck, just the usual ratios of hand trap on Labyrinth. Played Veiler and Nibiru on the main deck. And next we have Alex Vanquishol with Fire King with Rather Snake Eyes. So it's the same as earlier. I think it's the same locals. Next we have Raika without Naturia and played Predaplant package on the deck and with Tyrions as well. So yeah, with Lone Fire as well. So Raika, I also invested myself into a core of Raika, and I'm really waiting for the support because I'm not really a fan of Raika. Now, I just want to use Raika to use it on my trap tricks deck, but I don't want to play Raika on pure right now. I think it really lacks something, and I think Tyrion can definitely fill that void on this list and with Predaplant as well. And yeah, it will be very interesting to see Raika moving forward. Next, we have Phantom Knights, Horus, Adventure. So, another solid list from Anga. I think this will be very intriguing because on Japan, Phantom Knights is a well-played deck on their metagame scene. But in other countries, in Philippines and other parts of sea, I think I don't really see this deck that much. But it's up in there whether players will adapt those released from Japan. But this Phantom Knights lacks the Mechanical engine that Japanese usually plays on Phantom Knights, and I think it's better that way. I would rather play cards like Mechanical to boost the Phantom Knights overall. But yeah, Twin Twister can be very strong here on the side deck, can definitely out Floodgates and give you a powerful threat around Fire Kings and Voiceless Voice. And next we have our rookie tournament from Rookie Cup in Kaido Tabletop Community Champion Centurion. So Centurion with Floodgates and Hand Traps. So this can be very strong when going first. You set up Skill Drain, Kaiser, Fissure, and you basically win the game from there. I don't really see meta decks outing this type of word of Kenneth. And yeah, moving on, we have Chimera Horus from Sean. A very standard ratio of Chimera cards, and also played only 2 Frightful cards on the main deck, Patchwork on the main deck. So he doesn't really want to play the third copy. Instead, he played double Polymerization. And yeah, 43 card main deck, quite extensive. And yeah, moving on, we have Christian Lara Matmech. So standard version of Matmech, I assume. Played Cosmic Cyclone and Lightning Storm as his back row removal on the side deck. And I don't really see why people play Lancea. I'm not really a fan of Lancea right now. Maybe they're just afraid of Luanderis. Next, we have Salamangreat from Gab. Plays Rivalry on the side deck, no? Another Floodgate card to boost the Salamangreat control presence. And plays Kaiser as well on the main deck, which can be very strong for Salamangreat. Paired with Raging Phoenix, you definitely win the game and OTK the opponent next turn. And yeah, next we have my Voiceless Voice deck profile. Without Diviners, of course, because I'm broke. I don't have the money to buy Diviners, so this is Divinerless Voiceless Voice. I don't really recommend this build for people, but it's a good reference if you want to play the Voiceless Voice in a budget manner. And yeah, I also played the Hita on the extra deck and Almirage, so that I can have better tools around the Fire King matchup and the Fire Nation, of course. And next we have Kaidulis Battle Frontier first place on week 3. We have Jude Thomas Cruz Tenpai with more hand traps. So this is what I'm talking about earlier. I think Tenpai should be played with more hand traps over with board breakers, because hand traps are more versatile when your opponent lets you go first, and hand traps can be very problematic if they don't have answers to their choke points. So yeah, I think hand traps is the correct way to play in Tenpai. Next, we have ranking tournament from Ogre Boger. We have AE tournament, I assume. Yeah, AE tournament. So we have there purely Asian English format, no? We are nearing towards the first Asian English battle tournament this coming March in our country, and it's a good reference to see AE tournament results that we can look upon and cater our decks around them. And yeah, I think this is a very well executed purely list from DR, and it only misses out the Zeus on the extra deck, but other than that, purely is pretty much full power right now on Asian English. Next, we have Labyrinth from Kevin. So played a random bunch of cards on the extra deck and only using 10 cards on the side deck. But yeah, the main deck is overall pretty solid from Kevin. Next, we have Border Eldritch or Eldritch Tan. So, yeah, plays Veiler and Ash on the main deck. I'm not really a fan of those, but maybe he lacks card pool. And I really like the fact that he played Volcanic Queen on the side deck because you don't have outs to purely, to be honest. Once purely goes first and you draw 6 cards from the Sleepy Memory and you have unaffected boss monster from Nor, you don't have really a chance to beat that deck, no? I don't really see decks beating purely on the Asian English format other than having outs to the Nor. So we don't have Kaiju yet on the Asian English, but you have Volcanic Queen to have the pseudo Kaiju effect to out the Nor. And yeah, third place we have Runic, Stun Runic. So it's just the usual Stun Runic, and it's very cancerous. And I wonder why he didn't play the card of destruction on this list. Imagine 3 Fountain and 3 Terraforming. Look at this cancerous deck. To be honest, I don't have words to express on how vulgar this deck is on my eyes. It gives me sore eyes, to be honest. And yeah, this is a very toxic deck on the Asian English right now. And moving forward, we have the metagame report and analysis that are made by me. That is made by me on this report. So I have made a video regarding this, and you can just check out that video on our channel. Next, we have Ricky's Toys Hobby and Shop ranking tournament. We have Nemleria with side deck of Tenpai cards, no. So he wants to use the package of Nemleria on going first and place the Tenpai when going second. Very bright and brilliant idea from Efran. Next, we have Randy, Unchained Evil Twin, no? So it's just unusual way of playing Unchained now, and I think it really breaks on certain occasions, but it can definitely boost the Fiend synergy between Evil Twin and Unchained on this list, and also plays Lancea. I don't really see the logic of playing Lancea, but yeah, I would rather play Droplet over Dark Ruler No More if I'm going to play his list. But yeah, it's overall solid and does have looks of very clean deck from Randy. Next, we have top 4 Al, Fire King without Bonfire. So it's just a budget list of Fire King, but it really works, to be honest. Bonfire really complements the deck and boosts your consistency, but you can definitely play the deck with just Sinful package. And he played Winged Dragon of Ra, if I'm not mistaken, on the side deck. The side deck is incorrect, no? He played 16 cards, and yeah, it's really bad to look at. But yeah, he played Winged Dragon of Ra on the side deck. Very unusual. And next, we have Tenpai from Andreas with Dragon Ruler package on the main deck with Blaster and the little baby dragon of Blaster. And yeah, this is also very unusual to see Bestial Lubellion on Tenpai main deck. I think he wants to boost his going first using this Blaster and Magnamut and Lubellion. And yeah, we have next Yu-Gi-Oh! Davao Mindanao Gaming. We have Chimera from Bernal Kyle Ramos. So standard version of Chimera plays the Diabel Z. Definitely improves the deck by some mile on this list and plays the trap card of Sinful Spoils as well, or Snake Eyes rather. And yeah, pretty standard from Bernal Kay Ramos, and also played Master Tau on the main deck. I really like his side deck options. He played Phantasmi and Bell, which can be very strong on the Snake Eyes and Fire King matchups. And yeah, next we have Andrew Aguinaldo, Fire King Snake Eyes in full. So played the Gamma and Driver on the main deck. I think I would rather see cards like Droll and Nibiru on the main deck, but resolving Gamma really feels nice when you can use Gamma to hunt trap your opponent. And also played 2 Island, no? And played 1 Talents on the main deck. So yeah, this is also the tier list that I have made on our OCG metagame scene in the Philippines. So we are going to have another video that will discuss this tier list. But for now, it sums up our Uncrowned Kings local metagame report video and decklist reviews. So thank you for watching this video. I hope this video can be informative to you. I hope you enjoyed this video as well. So once again, thank you for the continued patronage on my YouTube channel as we are nearing 1K subs moving forward. So I think I would really plead with the bottom of my heart to thank you guys for your support on our channel. So see you on the next one. Peace.